over 86% of you are not subscribed. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell and set it to all, because if you don't, you won't get notified for all of my videos. We're trying to hit 600 subscribers so we can move on to the next Pretty Cure Let's Play. So without further ado, let's try to make this happen. Gokugenyo everyone, the Starlight Let's Player is here, and welcome to part 12 of 7 Pirates H. So the last part we defeated the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Monster Girls. So now we got 3 more to go for this part, and as well, like the last part where we completed Waffle and Jules quests, this time we're going to be going through Sakyura and Claret's quests as well. So like I said in the last part, I also had to do some heavy editing on these videos, just to make sure that things line up with one another. So after I do the monster fights, I'll show off the quests, and yeah. So we're getting this close to the end game here. After this part, we just gotta go through 2 cutscenes, which are pretty long, and I'll also show off Rindo's quests in the next part as well. So yeah, there's gonna be quite a lot to unpack at this point. There's gonna be a lot to unpack. So Nintendo has announced that the next Nintendo Direct will be tomorrow. So at the time of this recording, so it will be tomorrow, and I'm gonna be giving my thoughts. I'm gonna be giving my thoughts on this once it airs. Also, so if you can, be sure to follow me on Twitter, so you'll see my my thoughts on some games, because I will give my final thoughts as well, and I'll also only be interested in some of the games that interest me, because if you don't know, well, I'll be real. Most of the time throughout these Nintendo Directs, there's a lot of games that doesn't really interest me that much, which is why I know some of you may know that I'm not really interested in Pokemon. I don't really see myself going into the Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm not really interested in Splatoon either. So, and these are some of the most popular franchises to actually produce some of the most popular games out there, and yet I know I'm not really interested in those games. I know that's weird coming from. I know that's pretty weird for someone, because people are expected to actually be interested in those types of franchises, but to me, it just doesn't really interest me that much. Maybe the anime of Pokemon, because I did watch it up until Pokemon XY, but I just never really found much interest in those franchises. Like I said, there are gonna be some games that interest me. Like you know, the Booster Course Pass really interests me. I do plan on getting Pac-Man World Repack one day. And I am looking forward to Sonic Frontiers, so that's a thing. And I also hope that they actually update Mario Party Superstars and actually add some DLC to it, because the game is extremely fun. I just wish there were more characters, or at least bring us more boards. At least Super Mario Party actually had up to 20 characters to choose from, and up to 8 boards for us to choose from as well. In Mario Party Superstars, while I do like the gameplay, and I can't really compare it to Super Mario Party considering that I haven't played that one, but I love the gameplay of Mario Party. Again, I just wish there were actually more to it. But I digress. Anyways, we're now going straight into the 5th Monster Girl fight, and this one has to be the most revealing one. This is Pebble Princess, and the only thing that's covering her lady parts is actually Pebbles. All she has is a whole bunch of hair she's, guess you can easily say she's butt naked. The only thing that's covering her, like I said, the only thing that's covering her snatch and her rack is basically her, that's basically just pebbles, I believe. I don't know what they are that's covering her, but hey, at least that's something to cover her lady parts. But still, this is a lot more, I wouldn't say a lot more revealing than the last one we faced off, which was peeled beans for some reason, but you know, it's still on the same level as revealing as peeled beans. And when, like the last part, she's not really much of a threat in my opinion. You know, like I said, as I said many times, it all depends on how strong you make these characters. You know, I've also I've also had this you know, I had this thought, you know, where, you know, Neptunia, the collaboration between Neptunia and Senran Kagura, you know, I do find that game to be amazing, and it does have its fair share of fan service. But for, you know, it's just that for a Neptunia game, which is to be expected, there's, you know, there's really not much going into that. The only thing that can see having fan service is a bit of the panty shots, the breast bounces, maybe the CGI images. Those are definitely on that level of fan service. I just wish they, you know, I just wish the proportions of the Neptunia characters actually make sense, in my opinion. You know, when going into like the first 4 Neptunia games, at least they actually had proper proportions. As I said before, in the anime does not have the right proportions, in my opinion. I kind of wish they actually, like, I really wish they would have done a bit better on these on the art style of Neptunia, the actual anime itself, not the games, but just the anime. Who knows? Maybe one day that game will actually have proper proportions. I can also say the same for Date Alive too. Anyway, we're almost done with this fight. Like I said, it's not really much of a big deal. We got Rindo aroused, so that's good. And I guess after this part, I'll probably switch Porn out with Jewel, because like I said, both Porn and Jewel, they both each have an attack that can attack all of the enemies at once. Something that I probably should have done throughout my first playthrough of this game. So I'm just refreshing my characters, making sure they're not sick anymore. Because I forgot to mention this. If your character is sick, they can't use any skills, and they can't really gain any MP points, which is unfortunate. So, well, not really unfortunate, but that can be a bit of an annoyance. So you make sure you use Be Refresh, or use one of your items, like maybe the Almighty Potion, that can be able to neglect. That can be able to get rid of the effects you have. Like, it can either your character being sick, which means you can't use any MP points. If your character is poisoned, that means you'll lose health for each turn. And the paralysis can also the paralysis pretty much makes sure, I don't know how I can describe this, but the paralysis basically make your character loses a turn, so your character won't be able to get a turn until the next set of turns. Do you understand that? I hope you do. Shoot out our Dragon Flare, and she is still alive. Okay, okay. We almost got Porn and Puddled to their aroused state, so that should be good enough. And just like Jewel, she basically has the Aqua Storm attack. Still can't use any skills with Porn though, since she's 6, so I might as well just restore everyone's health. But hopefully I can finish this off with Puddled. And there we go, our 5th monster girl defeated. We got 10,000 gold and 9,000 H extract. And we also got a Booby King merchant. God damn. Yeah, you could have at least let her say it. So because of Otton, the Booby King started going berserk. Well, that's something. And we can now craft the frozen hue panties, which is great. Again, I might actually switch out Jewel and actually try to build her up as well. Now, just checking through the infos. So now that we've defeated the 5th monster girl, we gotta head straight to the desert to where we faced off against Doria. And there we will face. There we will face one of the most ridiculous monster girl fight. One of the ridiculous monster girls I have ever seen. Like, it's so weird, some of these dungeons doesn't really feel all, well, yeah, quote, dungeons doesn't really feel all that big. They don't really look all that big, in my opinion. But who knows? No, not who knows. I probably should go with, yeah, like, I can probably say 2 of these dungeons feel like extremely wide and short, in my opinion. Like, the desert is one good example of that. The desert spring, that's a one good example of that, cause like, just checking on the map itself, like, if you just look onto the map, it's a big open area. Like, that's what it just seems like. Like, it's probably, I think, to me, it's pretty much big enough to actually be a hub world. I don't know. I can also say the same for the Twin Peaks volcano dungeon. Again, I'm not sure why they even call these dungeons when they don't really have the feel as dungeons. You know, again, Neptunia had it right with the dungeons. Neptunia actually had places that felt like they're actually dungeons. Like the digital world, that felt like a dungeon. Like Beneath the Caves, that felt like a dungeon. Hell, even the I will say in Seven Pirates H, at least they had something right with a dungeon, and that was the Cave to the Palace. That actually felt like a dungeon. Either way, we're on to this, the sixth monster girl, and she's basically a cow. Her name is Milk Jelly, and because she's a cow, she's gonna have like 2 sets of racks. That's what they are, 2 sets of racks. I don't think I've ever seen a female character in anime that actually have 2 sets of titties. I don't know. Cause you know the anime can have some of the wacky shit. So I'm a bit surprised that throughout this point I've never actually ran into a female character with 2 sets of breasts. I don't know. Maybe some of the mangaka artists, maybe some of them just feel that they probably feel a bit weird, but that would be a bit contradictory considering that some of them actually, you know, make certain anime that feels extremely weird. You know, I can say one anime, Izuzoku Reviewers, that had that anime had a whole set of brothels with a bunch of monster girls as well. Two of them actually being pretty much cow-like monster girls, considering they have horns, and their breasts are extremely massive. Like, I wouldn't say on the level of hyper size, but they are extremely big. They are way bigger than their heads. Like, you really gotta check out the anime. Type in interspecies reviewers, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I might as well say at this point, I know I've said this many times, but I will say it again. As long as your character is strong enough, you should not be having any issues with these monster girl fights. Either way, once again, we're using the Sweet Tooth attack. Look at that, we're almost done with this one. And after Windows, we got two more to use. Or we might end it with Poron's attack. And that about does it. That was Milk Jelly, the 6th X Monster Girl. We finally defeated her. We only have one more to go. Why did Paru's mouth move even though she didn't say anything? Whatever.
でもお決まりのセリフでしょ。私たちを知ってるあんたたちは秘宝を集めたの？これのこと？7つとも集めたけど、これって何なの？モースピカに伝わる胸の力に反応して力を貯めておける秘宝。
treasure respond to the power of breasts.
セブンパイレーツの仲間の証大切に
The
して
two sets of 7 pirates. Otton's pirates. And we got this crew. This crew. The new 7 pirates.
あと一人か最後も見つけてあげないとね
ああ、次で最後。俺も伝えなくちゃならないんだち。
Alright, so I had to so ladies and gentlemen, I had to cut it over at this part because I had to make sure. The reason why I had to cut it this part was because I pretty much thought Claret's quest would actually, well, seconds. I really thought Claret's second mission would actually start there, but unfortunately we had to make sure that that it was actually there, but it turns out that was actually the event and I accidentally exited it out, so I pretty much had to cut that part out. And now we're getting into the actual final monster girl fight. So like I said, once again, after this we're going straight to the character's quest.
出たな
And the last one is called Dried Abalonus. Dried Abalonus.
私かしらあ誰
Again, her outfit is pretty revealing. How can they make these monster girls extremely revealing? Well, to be fair, Sakyura herself also has an outfit that's pretty revealing.
仕方ない私の番ね
Everyone else's outfits just like this doesn't like they are pretty revealing, but not that revealing.
私
What the you know?
私の番ね
But just this is the last one. I was expecting for this fight to actually be a bit tougher, but in my opinion, it's not really that tough.
これくらいで
Didn't really break a sweat with these. I didn't really break a sweat with these fights, to be fair. Well, except like I said, except for the first one,
どうだ
still caught me off guard there.
体がうずく
And much like some of the other fights, this monster girl also counterattacks as well. This girl used 2 skills, a regeneration and a tornado. Excuse me.
頑張る体がうずくわ
Yeah, I'm really trying to find something else to say. I can't really find anything else to say about. I don't know if I have anything else to say about this game, but
これ使ってよ
I don't know. I'm really trying to think of something else to talk about.
体がうずくわ必殺魅了アタックはーい
What I can say is that what I can say is that after this part, we only got 3 more videos to go on this one. 2 of them being the final ones in the story mode, and the final video. The final video will actually be an extra video.
待ったぞそら
If I can say another thing,
壊れちゃったらごめんね
I would say just focus more on the infos, rather than the actual quests, because like only a few of the quests are pretty much mandatory. The ones with the exclamation marks are the mandatory quests.
あいつだよ
As for the infos, really gotta make sure to go through those infos, because who knows, you might actually find some hidden might actually find some hidden goodies. You might actually find the actual quest on these characters like I have. Cause like that's why pretty much everybody a lot of people who played this game, even like the first game on the PlayStation Vita, had a hard time trying to find the last two CG pictures. Like, I'm not kidding. I tried to look this up. I tried to look up online just to see what those last two images might actually be. And to my surprise, nobody has ever uploaded them. They're not on the internet. I tried to search it up on Google Images. I tried to search it up on a website. I tried to search it up on GameFAQs or many of the other websites. I even tried to see if there was an actual true ending, but to my surprise, there's nothing. Either way, we defeated the 7th and final X Monster Girl. We've also got over 10,000. We also got about 10,000 H extract and 10,000 gold. And what do you know? The final one actually calls herself a former Monster Girl. Why call him number 2? Why call Otton number 2? Like, you saying the Booby King is number 1? Oh, they're forever in the afterlife. May they rest peacefully. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, it's about time we actually get into the quests themselves, and that is Claret's quest we're going to start off with first. So I checked gotta check the info. White Shadow, that is the start of Claret's quest. So you really gotta check out that info, and then head straight to the desert. Head straight to the desert. That's where you start off with Claret's quest. And I figure for this one, I'm gonna switch over. Well, I figure after I finish with the first mission of Claret's quest, I'll switch over to Claret in these dungeons, because I haven't really get to show off Claret. I only get to show off Claret while walking in the dungeon. I did it with Waffle. I did it with Window. I did it with Pawn. I did it with Sakyura. I also did it with Parut. So I think for the next parts, I'll probably show it off with Jewel, and I'll also show it off with yeah, actually, I think. Actually, yeah, Jewel's the only character I probably haven't shown off to walk in a dungeon. But either way, for Claret's quest, basically each of the 3 missions just involves you defeating a certain amount of like 3 enemies per quest. And once you do that, you actually get to save a boobiekin, and you gotta save this white boobiekin 3 times. 3 times, once for each mission. So once you complete this one, you'll get an info which will lead you directed to the next area, to where you have to save this bastard again, and that being the Weathered Ruins.
代わりに見つけてあげてるものだと思ってたかな。
最近は新しい船を欲しがるモンムスも減ったから。
And unlike all the booby kin, that one can actually talk clearly.
いろいろと大変そうかな。また襲われないように気をつけて帰ってね。
お互いにね。さようなら。
So there you go, white shadows in the ruins. So now we gotta head straight into the weathered ruins. The same place where we faced off against Garnet, and the same place where we faced off against the 5th. I believe. No. To the place where we faced off against the last monster girl. So yeah, this is Claret's running animation when she's in dungeons. You may not see it, but she's pretty much hunched over. Like, look at that. But anyways, there's really no need to save. Again, we're just facing off against enemies. They're not really much of a threat. Still, do find it funny that we have to save this asshole a second time. Well, I can't really call him an asshole because he's pretty nice, so let's just say he's a dumbass. Or a clumsy one. And look at that. Monsters already completed. Already defeated. And we unlocked Paru's H extract. That's good. White Monster Princess? What? Yeah, you told him to be careful, Claret, but yeah, he didn't listen. What a stubborn little booby-kin. You and that goddamn nipplehead. Lose to a booby-kin? How can you lose to a booby-kin? It may be the black booby-kin, but come on. And now we're going on to the last monster girl. Last monster. Oh my god. Now we're going into the last part of Claret's quest. And how did he even end up at the Twin Peaks volcano? I'll never understand. You know, like the last two, these monsters, well, only one of them put up a fight. Everyone else was straight up fodder. By the way, that's Claret's victory animation. That's something I want to know too. Why does he keep getting attacked? So he was retrieving the last of his supplies. What are you, Captain Toad? This is not no Captain Toad. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually made a female booby-kin. So a boobykin student, huh?
さあそこまでは。ただ、もっ
So we have
と
boobykin
で
students,
かいことをするとか言ってたよ。体も態度も話もでかいモームスだから。
boobykin merchants, and boobykin scholars. Well, never mind. The scholars are the ones.
さようなら。じゃあね、白いパイ
The scholars are the main ones.
貴重な情報ありがとう。親切なでかいモンス。私すっごく思い当たる人物がいるかな。無事だったのに知らせに来ないとはいい度胸してるね。見つけたら殴るだけじゃ済まさないよ。
To give her a punch once I find her? Really, Claret? You know, violence doesn't solve anything. Either way, now we're starting up with Sakyura's quest. And this time it's only centering around her and
女
Otton.
性が憂鬱な顔をしているなんてよ
Because
くない。
Otton pretty much said the wrong thing that Sakyura did not needed to hear.
オットンちゃん、潮風が肌に合わないみたいで、海賊というか
I'm
船旅は
starting
向い
to
てないの
doubt
か
that
しら。
her skin looks
そ
great
う
with
か
the breeze.
さくらはいつも
Well,
と
the
変わ
breeze
ら
looks
ず
great with her
綺麗な
skin.
肌に見えるんだっけ。
もうオットンちゃんには乙女の悩みがわからないの？
サキュラがいなくなるなんてやばい。俺の唯一の心のオアシスがなくな
Yeah,
ってし
you
まうぜ。
definitely fucked up there, Otton.
俺がなんとかするんだ
But I
ぜ。
digress. So, basically, you'll have a quest that you'll have to go through. And it's basically centered around fruit. Well, you have info and a request. And that info being an actual, that info being centered around a certain fruit. So, to protect your skin, report that one. You gotta get the stuff that's needed. So yeah, you get the stuff that is needed, and you'll trigger an actual cutscene for that quest. As you can see, I'm just checking over. Yeah, also the fruit guide to the world quest, you also have to complete that as well. I probably should have showed off the search on how you can actually get to that. I'll probably show it off in the next part. But either way, we're now going to the next cutscene for Sakyura's quest.
これでサキュラの悩みも解決なんだぜ。
オットンちゃんか。何の用かしら？
さっき入手したモンス
Surprised she's still upset about what Otton said.
このモンスビ会には
Either that or I don't think so. She's probably still upset about what's going on with her skin.
マカロン？何それ？どことなく私にふさわしい食べ物。どんなものなのか食べたいわ。
好みは美容健康によく。食べれば
It'll be good for beauty and will give you smooth skin if you eat it.
モンスピ界にはすごい意味があったのね。どうして今まで知らなかったのかしら。
その実は暗く湿った環境にしかできず。
Dark, damp places. That gave us a clue to where we need to find that fruit.
それじゃあ手に入れるのは難しいかもしれないわ。残念。
安心するんだぜ。俺が必ず見つけてみせるんだぜ。
So yeah, once you get to that cutscene, you'll have to go to the cave to the palace, and you'll see an event there. That being the cutscene to Sakyura's quest. So really, there's no fighting to do whatsoever. I feel like only Claret and Vindo's quest involves you having to fight in order to for Window, he's basically, well, I won't spoil it, but for Claret, you basically have to fight monsters to rescue a white boobiekin like 3 times. As for Jewel, Waffle, and yeah, as for Jewel, Waffle, and Porn's quests, it basically just involves them. It involves Jewel trying to spend as much money as she can. It involves Waffle trying to find what she's looking for, and it involves Parut showing porn around, like some of the best breezes, like the best places outside. And there goes Otton perving out on Sakyura, even though she doesn't really mind it. This girl really knows how to get around. Oh, she's always been special, Otton. She will always be best girl in this game. You shouldn't really doubt that, Otton. Anyway, that does it for Sakyura's quests. So, that does it for this part. Stick around for part 13. This time, we're going to be going through some cutscenes, and we're going to go through Rindo's quests as well. But until then, this is the Starlight Let's Player signing out. As always, Goku Genyo, and have a star-tastic day, everyone.
I knew I would fulfill my dream, yeah. They knew I started from the bottom, now I made it, yeah. The possibilities are endless, yeah, I say, yeah. I got the roots and I got everything I need, yeah. And now I'm chilling with a pretty gentle lady, yeah. She got a kinda gentle personality, yeah. She got them curvy hips and a booty for booty.